And joining us now with some insight on the plea deal, NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Danny, good morning to you. To Laura's point yesterday, the defense seemingly had suffered a string of losses. Why now? What do we make of the timing here with regard to this plea deal, especially when it seems like so many of the victims' family members are opposed to it?
Yeah, this defense team fought harder, arguably, than any defense team in the history of criminal justice. They must have filed hundreds of different motions. And on the whole, they mostly lost these motions. And I imagine as they came closer and closer to trial, it might have been the denial of the defense's request for yet another continuance. It might have been the denial of the defense's theory of introducing alternative suspects. But whatever it is, it was ultimately Kohberger's decision. And the attorneys may have, along the way, warned him that if you go to trial, this is a lot of evidence and you could be convicted and the death penalty may result. But ultimately, it was Kohberger's decision. We may find out in the future what motivated that decision. But presumably, he finally decided the evidence was too great and the offer was too good to refuse. This is life without the possibility of parole, as opposed to the death penalty. Although Idaho has only executed 3 people since 1977, so the death penalty is not necessarily the death penalty still in Idaho.
Yeah, you can understand why he wanted this deal. The question is why prosecutors went along with it. And Danny, what do you make of how the state has interacted with the family here? You think about the long history here, and it's not pretty, right? They didn't object to the house being torn down. They didn't object when they tried to get the motion to transfer venue. And now you have this. Just as an advocate, Danny, are you surprised about how relationships have broken down here?
Yeah, Laura, as you know, victims and their families are often disappointed and shocked to find out that they are not the clients of prosecutors. They are not parties to a criminal trial. They are really little more than witnesses, and the prosecutors have the final say. Now, it's true that in the last decade or so, many states have enacted laws, and Idaho has both a constitutional amendment and a separate act of the legislature, a law that requires victims to be heard. But being heard is not the same as being obeyed. So victims may have the opportunity to be heard on an issue, but ultimately it is the state, it is the prosecutors who make this final decision. And it is very common for victims and their families to be very upset with the decision that the prosecutors make.
Yeah, especially after the state says things like gruesome crime photos when they knew, of course, that was always going to be the case. Danny, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.